Hi everyone, it's Kute here, sending you love wherever you are around the world. No matter who we are as human beings in the process of living life itself, we have all done something. A few things, maybe a lot of things that in looking back we regret. And you know what? It's easy to look back in retrospect and judge oneself. It's easy to look back in retrospect and judge yourself and beat yourself up and why did I do it that way and I wish I'd done it that way. Perhaps you cheated in a relationship, or you betrayed a dear friend, or you betrayed yourself, or didn't honor yourself in a relationship or in a business partnership or in your family dynamic. Perhaps you're carrying guilt and self-judgment about your ability and how you showed up as a parent with your child, thinking, oh my God, I screwed up my kid. Whatever it was, there are all things we have that we look back on and think, wow, I wish I had done it differently. And the reality is, we all did the best we could at that time. You did the best you could at that time, given the resources you had, the level of your evolution, the level of your conscious awareness. You did the best you could. What I want you to know is that judging yourself and beating yourself up for what you should have, could have, would have done in the past is a complete waste of time. You judging yourself, beating yourself up and wallowing in what you have done and what you have created will not change what has happened in the past. It's done, it's gone, it's time to let it go. When you stay stuck in self-judgment and self-anger, all you do is you disconnect yourself from being fully empowered, enlivened, and present in the moment. And it's what you do in this present moment that will actually go forth and create your reality, your destiny for your future. So what are you judging yourself for still? What are you punishing yourself for? What are you holding on within yourself? What if you were the only one? Not some force outside, not some parent outside, not some other person that you did it to. What if you were the one that had the power to actually choose to set yourself free? You know, we're all born into this life experience. I liken life to a school. Life is like a university, and we incarnate as souls into this human experience with our own unique individual soul and life lessons to learn. It's like we all have our own curriculum. You know, perhaps you need to learn about forgiveness in this lifetime. Perhaps you need to learn about perseverance, about courage, about self-respect, and about self-honoring. We all have our own soul's lessons and curriculum. So I like to say that every single experience, relationship, and every single thing that happens in your life is simply an invitation, a challenge, an opportunity to assist your soul in evolving so that you can realize and recognize who you really are. We are born to evolve. We are born to wake up. We are born to realize, recognize, peel away those layers and reconnect with and remember who we truly are. And the way we do that is we come up against certain experiences and challenges and relationships in our lives where we have a choice point to learn so that we can transcend, graduate, go to the next level, and continue our process of evolving as human beings so we can realize who we truly are. So ultimately, we are born on this planet not to be perfect human beings. You know, if you hadn't noticed, in the level of the personality, you know, whether you're the Dalai Lama, whether you're Mother Teresa, Lord knows, whether you're Martin Luther King, JFK, you know, Jesus, Buddha, Bruce Lee, Bob Marley, the great ones, none of these personalities were perfect. They all have their quirks, they all have their issues, they all have their challenges, they all have their shadow side. That didn't make them wrong, that didn't make them less powerful. They were just living out and playing out and in a process of life's learning experience. So it's not about not making a mistake. It's not about being perfect. If you were meant to be perfect, you wouldn't have been born into this world. You're not meant to be perfect. You're here to make mistakes. You're here to fall over. You're going to fall over. No matter how many books you read and seminars you go to, there will be moments as a human being. So I invite you to embrace it. I invite you to accept it. I invite you to surrender to it and have a relationship with yourself where you can hold yourself, and you choose to hold yourself with the utmost compassion. You will make mistakes. You will fall down occasionally. There will be some times where you're unable to respond or react or do what you feel you would like to do based on conditioning, based on past, based on traumas, based on the reactivity of the moment. It's okay. What matters is not simply what happens in that moment. What matters is not simply the experience that you're going through. What really matters is that you learn. That you use every single relationship opportunity and every single thing that ever happens to you moment to moment as a learning and growth opportunity for your soul. So when you are faced with a situation, when you're in a situation, or even in retrospect from a situation, ask yourself, rather than being in judgment, being in self-anger, ask yourself, what is my soul seeking to learn from this moment? What could I learn from that situation? How is that situation, that experience assisting my soul in evolving and learn from it? So long as you learn from it, I say there's no real mistakes. There's no real mistakes. There's just opportunities to learn, to grow, and evolve. You will make mistakes. It's okay. You won't be perfect. It's okay. And part of your imperfections are what make you, you. The real freedom is to learn to embrace with compassion, with tenderness, your imperfections, knowing that every single thing you have done, even if it wasn't quite the way you wanted to, there's a part of you that, I like to say, there's a part of you that had a positive intention. Perhaps you didn't do something. If you look at whatever the behavior is that you have, that you might be judging, and by the way, all judging does is reinforce the very pattern you're trying to shift, and it keeps you stuck from actually moving forward. But if you look at the behavior that you might be judging from the past that you wish you had done differently, if you look underneath that and question yourself and look at what was the positive intention, there's usually something that part of you, something that version of you was actually seeking to get that was positive. Maybe it was seeking to get a sense of validation, which would give you a sense of feeling whole. Maybe you were seeking to get a sense of connectedness, a sense of safety, but perhaps the behavior or the way you went about it or didn't go about it or the way you reacted wasn't so positive. So if you can look at what is the underlying positive intention that I was seeking back then when I did what I did, when I didn't do what I did? What was the underlying positive intention? And if you can really recognize that, likely you were seeking to be loved, you were seeking connection, you were seeking safety, you were seeking something. And if you can acknowledge that, you can have compassion for the part of you that was either wounded or disconnected in that moment, and it was seeking to get a certain need met, but the way you went about it at that time wasn't the healthiest, the most positive, the most aligned. Learn from that and give yourself the love and the compassion and the validation that you were seeking at that time. So today I'm inviting you to do something bold, something courageous, because sometimes we hold on to the past as a way to keep us stuck so that we have an excuse not to move forward into risking and moving forward into our future. Is there a part of you that might be holding on to the past as a way to not move forward into your future? Because sometimes the ego plays sneaky games. I want to invite you right now to make a courageous decision, no matter what you've done, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've experienced, no matter what you wish you'd done. If you're holding on to shame, guilt, anger, judgment on yourself for something in the past, my invitation today, right now, is to acknowledge that you did the best you could at that time, is to acknowledge that you were seeking something and that was the best way in that moment you knew how to get that need met. And I encourage you to do something radical and courageous today, not tomorrow, not when you work it off. In this moment, I invite you to forgive yourself. I forgive myself for judging myself. I forgive myself for sabotaging myself. I forgive myself for beating myself up, for abusing myself. I forgive myself for holding myself hostage to the past. I invite you right now to make that choice, to start a new life, and give yourself the profound, courageous gift of self-forgiveness and set your heart free. Forgive yourself today, my friends, and set yourself free, because a new life awaits you now. If you enjoyed this video and blog, I invite you to subscribe to my blog. Let's stay connected. Just know I'm sending you love wherever you are around the world. Share this with your friends. Love now.